they're spraying again. I told them not to last week. Well, this is something that it'll be documented now from now on by me. Because for me, walking my dog across the street and seeing it's still going on, boy, people just don't seem to get a clue these days. Also, too, they spray at Troy. My daughter did say that they did let them know ahead of time. She plays softball on the field, and they did let them know ahead of time to get all the stuff out. So that was good. At least there's some, documentation. And I see a note here and there at some of the schools. I did fall into a coma, and I was in a coma for over probably two weeks from pesticide chemical spraying. I also do document the chemtrails. I have it documented a day, and every single time there's a chemtrail, I have a dog walking pet sitting business that I've had for 10 years, so I'm outside all day walking dogs. So there was another one that was posted. Again, I will post the time, the spray, what they're doing.
Excuse me?
Yes.
What is a chemtrail?
Are you serious?
I don't know what a chemtrail was.
You guys don't know what chemtrails
Never,
is?
I've not heard that.
My goodness.
Before.
You didn't even.
Talk to them.
Wow, okay.
They want to be
Yay.
educated.
Okay, well, can I just show you pictures on my phone?
Okay. Can you just explain it?
Well, okay, chemtrails is a barium aluminum oxide salt crystal. They use heavy toxins, heavy metals. They use mercury, lead, all kinds of things. If you look at the sky, and they were today at 158, because I was out there, and if I see it, I happen to photograph it, and I put it on Facebook. I'm trying to raise awareness to people what's happening in our skies. People are like, oh, it's contrails, it's just from jets and fuel.
Is it
It's
a
not.
product or a company?
We don't know where they're coming from. They've been coming for many, many years. But I'm getting out there.
So is this like the county is spraying?
This is happening all over the world. Next time, if you want, I can kind of let you know when they happen. They were happening. They might still be able to see them now. It's a long line that you'll see across. You'll see probably 2 or 3, and then they crisscross. It's almost like a tic-tac-toe effect. So what would happen is the barium oxide crystals participate and then move into a direction where it's going to be like almost like a white haze. They call it geoengineering. And do I want to know about all this stuff? My dad was a chemist. He was Dr. Copeland at something else. So I kind of heard a little here and there, but am I a chemistry major? No. I'm just somebody that cares about our environment. I'm kind of what you call a heavy-duty environmental activist because of the fact that if we're being bombarded here, our water, the Wi-Fi, everything, no wonder we're having Alzheimer's at 50. So, chemtrails, yes, and it's very controversial, but that word doesn't even make sense to me. It's really happening. There is all over, you can Google it and things like that, and you'll see videos of it. It's all over the place. Nobody's heard of chemtrails? Okay. So,
Just so you know, I started 3 minutes, about 2 minutes in, so she's about 5 minutes.
Okay, you allow 3 minutes.
okay, so, and also the Wi-Fi, I wanted to stand up for a moment for the Wi-Fi. I really believe that is EMF. And if we're being bombarded, people are having more heart attacks, seizures. Kids have a microwave effect, that kids are a smaller, we've got to be able to understand that when we're on our phones, you guys, I haven't talked on my phone. I talk basically away because of it's very obvious. There we go. And then kids put them in their back pockets. And if you were to go and have a photograph of that, there's going to be a picture of a phone in the back pocket. It's very evident. So I feel that having that, my daughter says, oh, they have Wi-Fi there, but it's only for the kids that don't have computers at home and stuff like that. It's only in one area. But I heard that you guys were going to be putting it in all, and I know June, when my daughter went to Acacia, everyone walked around, which is great, and it's nice to have, but we've got to understand there's EMF also, which is an electromagnetic field, that you can feel that 3 to 5 feet away. It's a microwave. People aren't going to a microwave and looking in the microwave, and their eyes and it's just the same effect. Whether you want to believe me or not, that's fine, but I'm going to keep moving about the chemtrails, and if anybody wants any information or me to send the photos and pictures to you, I think it's really important for our kids to know that, because that is heavy duty. Do you guys know who Erin Brockovich is? Okay, she has been also finding a large amounts in Sacramento and all of our water, high amounts, you guys, of aluminum. Okay, that's pretty much a big thing for, that's probably one of the main factors for Alzheimer's, you guys. And that's why people are like, oh, try not to drink out of cans. Okay, it's aluminum, you guys, aluminum bar. Again, and you'll see it. This isn't just me, you don't have to believe me, but it was happening today. And they do it right before it's gonna rain, which is, as you can see, it's not raining here because they're taking an effect of our rain here, okay? They can engineer a drought, and they are. Any other questions?
No, normally it's not a discussion time when it's a public
I just
comment.
say it and then go, and then that happens?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's not an agenda.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah. Hey, David, can you film them while I'm talking? And here's the Zoom right there. Thank you.
I just, sometimes I talk.
Joe Imbriano. There was a study that was released. It was a peer-reviewed study from the U.S. National Toxicology Program. I don't know if you're aware of this, but it broke on Friday, conveniently released before Labor Day weekend. And I believe it was designed to make it wear off by Tuesday. What we found in this study after the government spent $25 million on is 1 in 12 rats that were exposed developed malignant brain tumors, gliomas, and heart tumors or precancerous lesions. That was 1 in 12 rats. Power levels that were involved were 1, 3, and 6 watts. Cell phones and iPads are anywhere between 1 and 2 watts. The former associate director of the U.S. National Toxicology Program called this peer-reviewed research a game changer. The frequency was 900 megahertz, 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off, 9 hours a day. Pretty similar to what children are being exposed to when they're playing with their gadgets, whether they're in the classroom, whether they're at home, whether they're playing video games, whether they're just surfing the internet. The American Cancer Society called this good science. The Institute for Electricians and Electrical Engineers said that California should add radio frequency emissions to the Prop 65 list. It's interesting she brought up the pesticide applications. I know you post warnings when you spray Roundup and glyphosates and all those other things. But it has always been my contention, and I know it's not necessarily your purview, this is more something to do with the legislative enactment in Sacramento, but this does need radio frequency emissions. There needs to be a warning on your classrooms. These devices should have warnings on. Parents need to know to keep these things away from these children's bodies, and parents need to know that they're entering an area, where their children entering an area where there is a radio frequency hazard. As much as you don't want to believe it, this is a problem. Ron Melnick, he's retired from the National Toxicology Program, said, the NTP tested the hypothesis that cell phone radiation could not cause health effects, and that has now been disproved. The IEE also calls the NTP study the gold standard for animal cancer assays. So, once again, it was a long-term study, and it tested male rats, and they found brain tumors, and they found heart tumors. I thought it was very interesting that they didn't test female fertility. You know, we're sitting here and we're dealing with something that is being forced on children, and it is being forced on children from the top down. You have the White House with ConnectEd and the federal government with E-rate funneling money in your districts, putting the shopping sprees out to you, and you're voting to implement it. But yet we do not look at what I've alleged all along, and yet there are plenty of studies overseas that clearly indicate that long-term chronic exposure to low-level microwave emissions has direct impacts on ovarian reserves. There are studies that have been posted on my website that clearly show 10 minutes a day for 15 days, 50% of the ovarian reserves are gone. There are military studies that indicate that the specific frequencies that are used in Wi-Fi and in cell phones have a direct impact on the smooth endoplasmic reticulum at the cellular level, and that is the part of the cellular, the part at the cellular level that runs the zone of reaction, that controls the hardening of the egg. When one sperm gets in, the zone of reaction takes place, the egg hardens. When you mess with the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, you're going to have polyspermia, you're going to have an inviable zygote, the babies are not going to be born. I've always alleged that this is a sterilization agenda. I know that is not, there's no easy way to deliver bad news, and I'm delivering it now. So if we're going to ignore the cancer studies, I don't know what else to tell you, because the evidence is packing and stacking to the ceiling of this room. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comments? Next item on the agenda is to approve our consent agenda, and on it we have 5 items. So